Okay, so yeah, I totally, absolutely, completely messed this up.
Okay, so we're just going to try and get you to the point that you're better against it. Now, the trick is, we'll probably get you to the point that you're holding it when you expect it, but holding it when you don't expect it's going to be the trick. Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, I was gonna do a probe charge, or not a probe, a drone charge.
Last hurrah.
Yeah. Charge of the light
So
cavalry. But
with 11 overpool, that natural, super important.
yeah.
The reason for that is because spine crawlers are going to be the key to holding it. Now, spine crawlers are pretty much always the key to holding it. But it's kind of like if you were 15 pool, I would say, go roach spine. With 11 overpool, you're so late on your gas with this build that you're actually going to want to hold with queen, spine, and some slow zerglings if needed.
I see.
But generally, by the time the 4 gate starts warping in outside of your natural, your fourth queen is about to spawn, and if you scouted it, you're probably up to 3 spines or so.
So as soon as I see the 4 gate, how many spines should I throw down? Like 4 or 5 or?
Well, that's where you want to gauge where they're at on their gateway timing, because the
Okay.
4 gate doesn't actually, a well played 4 gate, I should say, doesn't start until the moment those gateways finish. And actually, my fourth gateway finished maybe 3 seconds after my warp tech finished. It was like not quite perfect, but it's that close on timing. So if you see their gateways are at 50%, then optimally you actually don't want to start those spines quite yet, and you might even want to sneak in a couple more drones so that you can survive the long game.
I see.
But if you see that those gateways when you scat it are at 90%, then optimally the spine should have been made a bit ago actually, because then you're going to actually have the spines at about half health when the
When
zealots
they
have finished
come.
warping in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's another. The other
Noted.
part of that is when you recognize that they're high ground gateway first, or sometimes later on you might even start finding some weird builds where they build a low ground pylon to make it look like they're expanding behind a mothership core, and then they 4 gate. Anything like that, you're going to start recognizing that there's a critical time that you must Overlord Scout or get Zerglings in their base. And if neither of those two things happen, you just straight up lose because you either A, overprepared for a 4 gate that never arrived and they were actually mothership core expanding, or B, assumed it was a mothership core expand and 10 stalkers show up at your door.
Mhm.
So that's the other critical aspect to that, is not only reacting properly, but recognizing, okay, he's not Forge Fast Expander Nexus first, therefore I must Overlord Scout at said time. And we're going to, it would be one thing for me to just say, oh, you should Overlord Scout at this time, because it's been the same time for the last 2.5 years. But I want you to recognize when that time is for you. And I'll let you know if that's too short or too soon or too.
Okay. I don't know. I just feel like I'd rather know the standard than like try
Okay.
and feel it out on my own. To me that would be more helpful.
Okay, if you feel that's if you're gonna learn better from that,
Yeah.
I would say 5 minutes is safe. By then you're gonna see the gateways starting to go down at the earliest point that they will. To give
Okay.
you a point of reference, that game I was warping in my first warp cycle at around 6 minutes 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so that actually was the one that's on ladder. I don't know what they did with Akalon Waste, but it was a much better map. Anyways, onward.
Wait. No, the one that is on ladder has like has like on your third or whatever that has like those why'd you leave?
We'll switch over to that one and try it out because they're
Okay.
virtual, so we'll see.
But yeah, it has like a collapsible rock tower or whatever that you can shoot it and it covers your third. And I think it has another rock thing somewhere else.
Oh, you're right. This one doesn't. The Akalon Flats one. Oh, that was the one from Wings of Liberty, where collapsible rocks didn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So this one is called Waste. I couldn't even tell the difference because I never played Wings of Liberty after that map came out. I was busy on Heart of the Swarm beta.
Yeah.
Okay, you all set?
Yep.
So this game, you're going to make sure by, I'd say, at the latest 5:15 that you Overlord Suicide or you've gotten Zerglings into my base.
Sounds good.
And I'm going to change up my building positioning here every time so that sometimes you'll be able to get Zerglings in, sometimes it'll be completely impossible. So you're going to have to probably see all those situations depending on your opponent.
We require more minerals. We require.
Yeah, this is the one that's on ladder.
We require.
Yeah, the
more
texture's a little
minerals.
different too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like there's a dead like mammoth somewhere on the map around here. I can't remember where he is.
We require more minerals.
So it's supposed to be like a desert, I assume.
We require more minerals. We must place that on a vessel, guys. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
And with these 4 gates, I'm hitting as bad as tight of timings as I possibly can, because that way you're going to be able to read a 4 gate that hits at 6 minutes, and if your opponent hits at 7 minutes, then you'll be like rock on free time. So don't be surprised if on ladder you see a 4 gate and you go, oh, I know what this is, and then they take 2 minutes to arrive at your doorstep. And you're like giggling the entire time.
Yeah, it goes well. Yeah.
It still happens even at Master League. I don't know what it is. Sometimes people just are like, oh, let's 4 gate, and they actually did not plan their build for it at all.
Oh my god. Wow.
It's definitely one of those builds you got to kind of just go into the game knowing you're going to do it.
Oh, I messed up my 11 overpool, so I'm switching it up.
Okay. Speaking of impromptu builds.
Yeah, I like the Stalinator build. It's essentially just improv the entire time.
Good plan.
Yeah. It's like the whose line is it anyway of Starcraft builds. It's just
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
so I read it was like a essay on the Zerg forums about why like the 11 overpool is the best build, and this guy was like totally passionate about 11 overpool, and it's like specifically writing it out how much larva you could get and how it was equal to all the other builds that you could possibly do, and yeah, he was he really liked the 11 overpool. It was pretty.
I like it. I would like to know who he is, because that's pretty awesome. I know I
Okay.
saw one back in the day, but that was a long time ago.
No, it was like it was like a week or two ago.
That's pretty great. I mean, the 11 Overpool is an amazing build, so I can't say I blame him.
We must place that on a Vespine geyser.
Where'd my circlings go? I don't. Oh, there. Onwards.
Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, there's your 4 gates. I see them.
Congratulations.
It was tough.
1, 2. All right, now.
So during a 4 gate, should I throw down a roach warden? Because that's generally my first response when I see a 4 gate.
Under attack.
Well, optimally, I would say you're actually going to do a little better with
We require
spines
more
and
minerals.
queens, and
Okay.
just going gasless for the most part.
Okay.
With 11 Overpool. With other builds, that's not the case, but
And slowlings.
yes.
We require more minerals.
Okay. Well. That's a lot of zealots.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Minerals. Our forces
yeah. Again, there's no way I can hold this.
All right. So this one was actually just a case of the spines starting just a little too late. You were really close on that timing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this one was a Korean fort gate. I like to add a sentry to it. A lot of times there was no sentry.
Korean 4-gate.
Yeah, this one got popularized because for a little while on the Korean ladder, pretty much all Protoss players would just mine 50 gas, chrono boost out warp tech, and put pylons all over your base, warping in zealots. Sometimes they would even go up to actually 5 gates because technically with chrono boost, you can support like 4.25 warp gates off of one base.
Okay.
And it was always kind of silly because, well, as you saw, it's just like completely gasless, just a whole bunch of zealots. It's just one style you're going to see. It's a lot less popular these days since Mothership Core is so awesome with a 4-gate. But it's always good to at least know what you're up against. It hits a little quicker.
I see.
All right. So there, I think actually the one thing that you can improve upon is just timing those spines a little better. What was the deciding factor on how late those spines went up?
I saw your gates, and I was like, okay, I gotta start building at like 5:30 or something. I didn't start building them immediately.
Okay. So you maybe just kind of off the top of your head, maybe just actually delayed them a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Just remember, you always want to make sure that your timing with that is directly related to when those gateways started. So in that case, you scouted me and the gateways were already finished. So that's indicative that that was actually one rare case where I had enough sitting around that my gateways could be ready the moment my warp tech finished, and my limiting factor was the warp tech. And you can't really know when that started since you have no progress bar on your side. But if the gateways are already finished, odds are it's imminent. I mean, you don't have time to delay for anything.
I see.
Because in that case, I didn't actually check the time, but I'd be willing to bet I actually started my first warp in closer to around 5:45 or 6. So that one's a little faster than the previous one. Just because I bumped up my gateway timing on my first gateway by 1 probe, which then results in a faster cyber core. But slightly weaker economy, but since I'm pulling off gas, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it's like an all-in build, and if you fail it, you lose, essentially. Yeah.
Another fun thing that you can use as an identifying factor is a lot of 4-gates are going to actually drop a pylon to close their ramp when they move out. So they'll leave with 1 probe, a zealot and a stalker, or a zealot and a sentry, and then they'll pylon off their ramp so they don't have to worry about run-bys back home. So if you notice that one point when you had the 4 Zerglings and you charged my zealot with an A move kind of deal. I don't know if you were actually... Okay, well, there's a couple things there that you can do to improve that. The first is if you are going to engage, make sure you go for the sentry, not the zealot.
I see.
The sentry's vulnerable. You're going to force them to drop a force field when they would rather be using that on your ramp. So I would have only had 1 force field for your ramp rather than 2. Also, if they're not watching the sentry, they may just straight up lose it, since 4 Zerglings can kill a sentry really fast. The other thing you want to do with that, if you decide not to go for it, especially if they're on Stalker Zealot rather than Sentry Zealot, is go ahead and run by and go for their main. And that's where you're going to do one of 2 things. Either you're going to get in, and then they're going to be forced to use up some warp cycles to defend, or you're not going to get in, and they're still going to have to use a couple warps to get some Stalkers to defend. So one way or another, especially if they've pulled off gas, that's actually going to put a lot of pressure on them.
I see.
Because even if they've pyloned that off, you're just going to chip away at buildings, and they're going to have to shut it down eventually. Okay. I think I accidentally just did a join. Crap. I wish double click would
join what?
You know how it says join versus create and the join auto starts?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wish the double click would default to create. Oh well.
Oh well, life goes on.
Yep, we will manage.
Okay.
Okay, so for this one, I liked the Overlord Scout timing. That was good. I would just bump up the Spine Crawler timing a little bit if you see the warp gate's already finished.
Minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require
So there
more
are generally
minerals.
2 timings that Protoss will attack, and I feel like one will be a 4 gate and the other will be like a 9-minute to 10-minute sort of timing attack.
We require more minerals.
Yeah.
Or is that like,
We require more
am I off
minerals.
in my estimation there?
We require
No, that's
more
pretty good.
minerals.
There's 5 gate, which is a little different.
More minerals.
But otherwise, yeah, I'd say your timings are accurate. The one that throws that monkey wrench is the 5 gate, where they take their natural and they then immediately chrono boost up to warp tech while just casually probing. They're not spending any chrono on their probes. And then they go ahead and hit just a couple warp cycles of zealots, and then they move on to whatever their mid game is. So that one's a little different, but otherwise I'd say, yeah, either 4 gate or the 8 to 9 minute mark.
Let's see.
And really for now, if you can just kind of generally recognize if aggression is coming, it's not going to, for their mid game, it's not going to be too terribly concerning if you don't know the exact timing yet. As long as you know just to make an extra spine or two.
We require more minerals.
Uh-oh. It's over. Oh, no, never
What
mind.
happened?
Oh, I started lagging. I'm like, uh-oh, here it comes. Here comes the crash. Oh, oof. We're still okay.
We survived.
Yeah. We live to fight another day. And this guy will go over here. But I've noticed that Protoss players are generally, to me, they're very partial to early. When do you say mid game starts? 10 minutes.
Yeah, give or take.
Okay. So yeah, they're very fond of early to mid game pressure. I very rarely have circumstances where Protoss will just sit there for like 20 minutes and just macro up or something like that.
Yeah, some of your Sky Toss players these days might. But other than that, not so much.
Okay. Fortunately, I've very rarely encountered actual Sky Toss players, but from what I hear, it's pretty brutal.
It's not so good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh crap. No. So, therefore, for this to actually work, I have to Overlord Scout at 5 every single time. Every game.
If you don't see Forge or Nexus first, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's your cue. Yeah, like right now, this one's late, and the one thing that saves you here is you do see the warp gates coming in, but this, honestly, if you see it at this stage, it feels like you've seen it too late.
Yeah.
Some more overdose.
So they're going to get basically 2 warp cycles in before you're able to get the spines up.
Oh, crap.
Our forces are under attack. Spawn more overlords. Spawn more overlords. Our drones are under attack. Spawn more overlords. Our drones are under attack.
Oh, swing and a miss.
Hmm?
Oh, I missed my force field up top. Not so good.
Our forces are under attack.
Well, I guess I held it.
Yeah, the missed force field definitely
Definitely
gave you
saved
something
my
to work
ass.
with there. Yeah. Now, when you commit that heavily to spine, you definitely want to make sure you get some creep spread so you can block both your ramp
So
and your.
I can actually use it to be
Yeah.
to save the base.
Yeah, you don't just have them walk past like that because that's always trouble.
I was like, I like kind of saw it coming too. I'm like, I think that's happening. I think that's what's gonna happen. Okay.
The hive cluster is under
Ah, where'd they come from? Oh well. Screw it. And is there anything in particular that I should be attacking with my Zerglings? Okay.
Our forces are under
Yeah, the mothership or the cyber core definitely a good choice there. It's gonna force them to be on zealot only.
forces are under attack. The hive cluster is under attack.
But generally, if they have no units yet,
Yeah?
getting into their mineral line is going to be the best way to go.
Okay.
Our forces are under attack.
And this is where your transfusions are really going to be put to
Okay.
the test. If they get an angle like this on your spine crawlers, it can actually be really tricky to hold because they're going to be so cost effective.
Unacceptable command. The hive cluster is under attack.
Yeah, well.
All right. So with that, I would say, actually, I want to take a look at the replay real quick.
Okay.
Because I'm wondering why you have so many minerals for those spines. 11
Because
overpooled.
I messed up my 11 overpull again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why. I keep doing like the extractor trick, and for some reason I just drone past it and I was like oh crap, I guess now it's 15 pool for
Yeah.
15 hatch now.
I've officially made a terrible 15 pool rather than an 11 over. Yeah, I have done that once in a while, and
Yeah.
it actually sets you back so much. It's unbelievable how
Yeah,
bad that
it's-
build is if you don't make the pool.
Yeah, it's rough.
Okay, well, maybe we won't watch that one. As long as
Okay.
you hit the 11 over pool, the next game will be good to
Okay,
go.
okay. Yeah, the thing is, like, it's just it's like 1/3 of the matches will be 11 over pool. The rest are generally 14 hatch or 14 pool. Just Terran, I go 14 hatch, and then Zerg, it's 14 pool. So
Yeah,
there you go.
absolutely.
There you go. That's but for all the other ones, because you got to be a little bit more consciously aware. You can't just like because your first instinct is like drone subconsciously,
Yeah.
and then sometimes it's just like wait a second, I drone too much. Ah, crap.
We require.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling in the world when you just randomly hold down the D key and then you see him move out. Like, did I just make 8 drones?
Yeah, I had that happen. I wanted to make a bunch of mutalisks to go on the attack, and I accidentally held down the V key instead of the T key.
Oh,
Made like 20 overlords. Like,
you just you just maxed out on overlords.
I don't know if that's possible.
Well, yeah, that is the upside is you can't technically supply cap on that, so that's good. Actually, back in Wings of Liberty beta,
Yeah.
the Overlord spawned infested Terrans, or the Overseer did.
Those must have been the days.
Yeah, so you could actually max out, so to speak. Basically, you could get like 1,000 supply worth of what would be, if they cast supply, worth of Overseers,
Yeah.
and just fly around the map spawning infested Terrans everywhere.
That was awesome.
We require.
Yeah, it was so broken, because effectively Zerg had no supply cap. It was brilliant. I don't know why they ever changed it.
We require more minerals.
Those
Yeah,
were the
I don't know.
days.
They also took out like the burrow charge and like
Oh, that was good too.
all these good things that they promised us and all like the Wings of Liberty trailers. They never came.
Wings of
Or not,
of
sorry,
Liberty
not
beta.
the Heart of the Swarm trailers. They had like the Ultralisk like burrow charge. Of course, they had like the Warhound. I remember reading it was like this is the Blizzard. What they say is their official list of changes for Heart of the Swarm, and I'm like, none of these are actually real. Because it was
Yep.
like we're retiring the carrier, and the Tempest is going to be the new Protoss capital ship. Like, no, it's not.
No, people are going to revolt because they like their carrier. So
Yeah.
they made the carrier awesome, which I guess is pretty good.
Yeah.
The Roach, it used to have the regen that it has when it's burrowed with the burrow move upgrade
Yeah.
above ground at all times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those must have been the
That's-
days.
Yeah, that's why there was a period of time when the Roach only had 3 range, because it was ridiculously overpowered even with only 3 range, because it never died.
Yeah. Miss those days.
Yeah. That was good. Zerg could roll about 80% win rate, making nothing but 1 unit. All matchups.
Spawn more overlords. Spawn more overlords. Our forces are under attack.
Okay, well.
So I'd say when you see it at this point, you're probably good to go ahead and start the spines.
Okay.
You can technically delay them by like 10 or 15 seconds, but you know, it's one of those why risk it kind of things.
Hmm.
Also, if you do have any Zerglings out still, try and delay it by seeing if you can snipe the probe, or at least forcing them to pull back their probe to play a little safer. Zerglings can stall a probe by a good 30 to 60 seconds from getting to your side of the map if you play it right.
I see.
Although Mothership Core has prevented some of that.
Yeah, I really don't like the Mothership Core. I really think it was a bad move. Bad choice.
It's pretty brutal.
Just
It's
'cause-
definitely a strong unit.
Well, I mean, it's not that hard to kill, but it's just, especially a Zerg, when you don't have any anti-air units until, like... Die, probe! Okay, well, he's not gonna die.
Yeah, this is... Generally, you want to make sure you're doing this before the first warp cycle is hit. Otherwise, you're going to be in a tough spot.
Yeah.
And that is still a lot of spines. The
You
reason
never have
why
too many spines. Oh, crap.
Unacceptable.
and I am good at missing these force fields, aren't I?
Our drones are under attack.
Yeah, the reason I'm not so big on that many spines is because your economy's going to be in really rough shape.
Yeah.
Our forces are under attack. Unacceptable
Well,
command.